Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed is a spiritual crossing of the threshold to the world of being a truly expanded human being. Join mediums Cheryl and Kelley for conversations about discovering deep spirituality, developing your intuitive and empathic skills, and personal mediumship. Each episode will focus on tips, tools, and techniques to help you understand and expand your own inner gifts of life journey. Now, your host of Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed, Kelley and Cheryl.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Living Transformed, Seeing Beyond, our radio show, which is Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed. I want to welcome you all. I kind of got that backwards there. I want to welcome all of you to today. It's going to be a wonderful show. It's an interesting show. We have a lot of people that always ask us these questions that we're going to be discussing today. But first, I just want to let everyone know, hello, I'm Cheryl Murphy. I'll be with you today. And I want to introduce my co-host for today, Miss Lori Albert. Hi, Lori. How are you today?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. As always, I love coming on with you guys because you're so high vibrational.
Hey, thank you so much. And just to tell you, Lori, we get a lot of comments in our emails about how much people enjoy having you on. And so we really appreciate you coming back.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, today's show, Kelley was going to be here today, but she took the day off and I'm jumping in for her. We have Lori with us today. We're going to be talking about medium versus psychic. And, you know, you could be both really. And really, what's the difference in medium versus psychic? We'll also be taking your calls or doing some readings later. So if you want to send us your questions, you can send them to questions@seeingbeyondradio.com and sign up for our email list at seeingbeyondradio.com. Also, while you're here live with us, you can always type in the comments section any questions you may have, and we'll tune in for you. All right, so let's get underway with our show today. We're talking about medium versus psychic. What does that mean for you, Lori? I mean, when did you first know that you had any abilities, really, psychic or mediumship?
Well, you know, this is such a great subject because, you know, I teach a lot of people developing their gifts, right? And it's so fascinating because people don't understand what the difference is, you know? So if you don't mind, I would love to just tell everybody what the difference is.
Please, go ahead.
So check this out, you guys. All right. You know how sometimes you just know stuff, like, you know that the doorbell is going to ring or the the doorbell or the phone, whatever is going to ring, or you just know that, you know, whatever it is, you know, you just know that you should do this or you should do that. And it always works out right. That is psychic. Okay. But the other part, the mediumship part, medium is when you talk and see spirits from the other side. So it's really they're two totally different things, but yet they're so similar and they're so connected, you know. And so I thought that was really interesting. And you know, sometimes I can see, whenever I'm doing workshops or classes or whatever, I can see the light bulb going off, you know. Right. So I just always find it to be so fascinating. So for me, I didn't know I was either one. For the longest time. I knew I had weird stuff going on when I was young, you know, and I started out being an empath and I didn't know what that was until way later. And I would walk into stores, like, you know, in a grocery store or something, and I would look at somebody and I'd go, oh my goodness, they're so sad. That person is so incredibly sad. I would want to go over and give them a hug when I was little or something, right? Or, you know, I'd walk past somebody and go, oh my gosh, she's going to get engaged tonight or something like that, you know? And in my head, I thought, I'm making up these stories, but I really wasn't.
Yeah.
You know?
And tell people what an empath is too, because you're also discussing empath. So you were an empath. That's what you first recognized.
Yes.
So what's an empath?
Well, an empath is actually part of one of the clairs of spirit work, which I guess we can talk about in a few minutes. But
Yeah.
clairsentience is
Mhm.
when you feel stuff. Like
Mhm.
clairvoyance is when you see,
Mhm.
you see spirits or you see them in your mind's eye or whatever, or, see whatever. But clairsentience is when you feel stuff. And
Mhm.
so, and when you're an empath, you end up kind of, or you can, and it happens this way. It could be as dramatic as taking on the emotions of the person next to you or in front of you,
Good or bad, right?
or good
Yeah.
or bad.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there are ways to fix that and to protect yourself, which we can get into later too. But it's so interesting because it's all part of spirit work.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's beautiful. It's a wonderful thing,
I love it. I love it. And Courtney is agreeing with you. She's saying that's her too. She's clairsentience.
Yeah.
So good.
Now, are you an empath?
Mhm. I believe I'm an empath. And, when I started out in this field, I was very young as well.
Mhm.
And I didn't really put the terminology with what I was experiencing. I didn't
Mm.
know psychic or medium or, I
Yeah.
didn't, I just knew things, just like you said, you just know things. You're in the flow, you're experiencing, and you don't know where it's coming from. You
Yeah.
just know that you know more than what everyone else is talking about in some way, or things people don't know, or things that are hidden that people aren't revealing. And so it wasn't until I got a little bit older that I started learning about, oh, these are clairs. Oh, this is psychic.
Mhm.
Oh, this is me. Oh, okay, well, I can understand that.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
When you come from a long line of
I do. A
people.
long line of psychic, people. The women in my family were all psychic. My mom, my grandmother, my sister, and my brother now is, I do believe, intuitive. But my great aunt was hired by the government to find a missing pilot and plane. And
Wow.
yeah, I know it was a big thing. But you never heard about that.
You sure?
That was always hidden. And she agreed. She goes, I'll find him for you, but he's already dead. Do you still want me to find him? And they go, yeah, we do. And so she did find him and the plane, and he was ejected like 500 feet from the plane. And this was in the snowy mountains where radar couldn't track back then. And
Oh,
so
wow.
believe it or not, there are things we don't know what's going on, but the government definitely hired her for that
Well,
reason. Yeah,
yeah, I just find that to be so
it
fascinating
is.
because, it's like officially they would never say
Never,
that they called in
never.
a psychic, but
And I was so tiny back then, I only heard about this later in life when I, grew up. My
yeah.
mom goes, "Oh, yeah, don't you remember, great aunt," and I was like, "Oh, wow, no." So I learned a lot, even though I knew them when I was so tiny, just a little, knee high to a grasshopper, as they say. I wasn't sure, what all that was being discussed.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So it really validated me. I just want to say it really validated my work as a medium and the psychic, knowing that it runs in my family. It's like, oh yeah, okay, well then that's why,
Yeah.
that's why I am like I am. Or, maybe it gave me some confidence or some encouragement. Oh, okay, I'm not the weird one in the family. Okay. Everyone else is also have our little thing. So yeah, so it really helped bring it home. I think it brought it for full circle for me.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
that is so fascinating, and you're
Yeah.
so lucky that your family was so open to this.
Very open.
I didn't know anything was going on in my family
Uh-huh.
until after I really started developing myself, and
Oh,
then both of my grandmothers
no.
come through together. Like, they always come through. When they come through, they always come through together, and they both said to me, "We both had stuff going on."
Aha.
But we never, you just didn't talk about it back then. We were from a very small town, And, if you got labeled as weird, it was not a good thing,
It was
right?
not good. It was not good back then.
Yeah. But they
And
come through and then they were like, "We're so excited," And then it was like, "Oh my goodness." And my mother was like, "What are you talking about?" And then finally, God rest her soul, she's with me all the time now. She
yeah.
passed away and now she gets it.
Yeah.
So she comes in and she's with me because she was a teacher. So she helps me, isn't it funny how that just kind of
It
comes full
is
circle?
funny, and that's a good lesson for people to know that even though their loved ones may not have believed in this while they were living, or may not have even thought about this, to be able to come through a medium in the while they're in spirit. I mean, this is new. People, spirit world does come through, even if they didn't understand mediumship or psychic abilities. They want to reach their loved one here, so they
Yeah.
are going to connect with the medium. It's almost like their understanding expands.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah,
love that. It's
I
so
love it
true.
too.
So
I
true.
love it. And, well, let's talk about medium versus psychic. So, from my understanding, and the best way I can teach or share is to say that it's a soul to soul connection, right? We're connecting with the soul. So if I'm giving someone a psychic reading, I'm connecting with the person in front of me. For example, I'm connecting with my client. And
Mhm.
if I'm that's psychic, right? So I'm working with them on their questions around their life or their career, their finances, health concerns, relationships, questions about their life. But it is a soul to soul connection. My energy is there for them. But
Mhm.
then also as a medium, now when I connect with someone who has crossed over, I'm connecting with still on a soul to soul connection, but my attention or my awareness goes to that spirit that's crossed over
Yeah.
and bringing through messages with them. Is that's how I teach it. That
Yeah. That
yeah,
is so beautifully stated.
yeah, it's still
You have
soul to
such a
soul.
beautiful way with words, first of
Yeah.
all,
No,
I just say, yeah, there, I see people, dead
yeah.
people back there.
Well, and let's ask our listeners. Let's just say hello to our listeners, by the way. Let's call out some people just to say hi to Courtney, Shonda, hi Barbara, Keith. Thank you guys for joining us. I know I spoke to many people last night on my Facebook Live that they were going to be joining us today, and
Great.
also listening to this recording, which is always available. But for you, so you're just saying you see people. So let's ask our listeners if they do,
Yeah.
if they see uh, people. So what you mean is you see spirits. You're using your
Well,
clairvoyance to see.
clairvoyance. Yeah, it's you know what it's a mix for me personally,
Yeah.
it's a mixture of both. It's clairvoyance, but it's also clairsentience. So I feel them
Yes.
coming close, but then I can and I sense them, and then when I close my eyes, then I can start to see them. Not always closing my eyes, but it's just the way it kind of works out that way usually.
Yeah, I love it. And so a great line for people to understand the difference between medium and psychic. I think we've talked about this before, Lori. We would say every medium is a psychic, but not every psychic is a medium. Would
Right.
you agree to that?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. And that's you have to just I know some psychics that get a little like, "I wanna be a medium," kinda thing.
Yeah.
And it's like we all have different
Mhm.
gifts. We all have different gifts, and there's a reason for that. Spirit spirit has our back no
Mhm.
matter what. So, when we start this journey of
Yeah.
development,
Yeah.
who knows how it's gonna turn out, you know?
Right?
And it's so much fun. You
Yeah.
have to just, like, go with it, trust and surrender because whatever gifts you may have, there's a reason for it,
It's so
right?
true.
So,
So
yeah,
true. And to follow that, let's see, we have Sue and Jessica just joined us. Shonda says, "I can sense them, but I don't see clearly. It's like seeing shadows."
right. That's still clairvoyance, though. So
Yeah, and we have to so Shonda, you are our
Mhm.
beautiful example, and thank you for letting us know because that's exactly right. That's why Lori and I teach intuition, and I know Lori teaches it. She has classes going on right now. I'm creating a class, Lori, just to tell you. So I'm in the middle of creating an intuition class. But Shonda, this is a perfect example that Shonda is clairvoyant, and Lori, who is a beautiful medium in her own right, just validated that for you. That seeing shadows, Lori, that is clairvoyance, right? It
Yes, and I have to tell you, I didn't think I was a medium for the longest time because I thought that when you were clairvoyant, and this goes back years, and I actually knew you then, Cheryl, right? I would think that you had to see a full-on
Mhm.
apparition, like
Mhm.
a full-on person on the other side that
Mm.
that is standing right in front of you, like no shadows or anything like that. That's what I thought clairvoyance was. That's not true. You
Mhm.
can see pictures, you can see things, all the stuff in your mind's eye. A shadow, that is clairvoyance.
It is clairvoyant. So right on. And Shonda, if you want to see more, or if you want to put color to what you're seeing, or have it be more vibrant, or,
Mhm.
you want to ask the spirit world, please let me see more clearly. Please let me see you. Is that
Mhm.
what we should do if we want to strengthen that, Lori? Like an
Yeah.
affirmation or a prayer, asking, because the spirit world will work with us, right?
Yes.
They're our partners in this. They're our colleagues.
Yes, they are. And that's why it's really important to, and here I am opening up another sort of subject here, but we won't get into this, but I'm sure everybody has heard of spirit guides, right? It's
Ah, yeah.
good to get your spirit guides
Mm,
figured out. And that might be, somebody that that's passed. It might be, it could be Mother Teresa. And it could
mhm.
be anybody, So you get them in line and they will help you. They will
Definitely.
help you figure all of that out.
So I
So
love it. And so today's conversation, everyone, we are talking about the difference between mediumship versus psychic ability. And I really think that just to tell you, there are a lot of really good psychics out there that are
yes.
not mediums, but they're
Mhm.
really good psychics. So if you fall under that category, or if you feel that for anyone listening, if they are more psychic than a mediumship, for example, go that route because there's so much there to discover.
Oh, yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, wonderful psychic readers, even using cards. Some people use cards like the tarot, or
Mhm.
some psychics use angel card readings. Some psychics help find missing people, locating missing
Mhm.
people. They work with law enforcement. There
Mhm.
are wonderful ways and reasons to use your psychic ability. It truly is, and it's fun. It's fun to use your psychic ability. So
Mhm.
we hope that helps. So, but not every psychic is a medium. And I believe being a medium, we raise our vibration even higher to be a
Mhm.
medium, right? We have to
Yeah.
really blend with the spirit world. So we're raising our vibration to be a medium. Spirit world is lowering their vibration to meet us. And that's how we blend with the spirit world, right?
That is exactly how I describe it. I
It's
love
so
that.
much fun talking to you about this, Lori. I gotta say, it's
I know.
so much fun.
It's because it's when you know what? And this is why I think you and I get along so well, because we keep it fun, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, there is a time and a place for things to be serious. I get that. Not every reading that we give is like up and, happy and all of that stuff. There's a
Mhm.
time and a place for the serious stuff,
Mhm.
but it doesn't have to always be that. It can
Mhm.
be fun. It can be high vibrational. I've had spirits like laughing so hard and making me giggle, and you just have to, you go with the spirits that are there,
You have to go with the spirits that are there. And, I had a student today ask me about, do you ever get surprised by what the spirit world says to you? And after all those years and all these readings we do, are you ever surprised? And it's like, yes, I am wowed all the time by the spirit world, right?
Yeah.
The messages that come through for their loved ones are so heartfelt and so meaningful that sometimes I feel the spirit world giving me that hug too, just saying, thank you. Thank you for helping me connect with my daughter today. Or, so it's
Mhm.
very heartfelt, very meaningful, and very much a privilege to be a medium,
Yeah.
right?
It really is. It really is. I do live mediumship events on Insight
Mm,
Timer. And I do it on Thursday nights, right? So last Thursday, this is so funny. And I always think, or I've been telling the story a lot this week just because it just happened. But so we had all the people on, and I started getting this lady's son coming through, and
Okay.
we had a nice little sort of thing. It was, 5 or 10 minutes of this son who, it was beautiful, reconnecting the mother and the son. It was a beautiful, time, right? So when he was finished, normally what they do is they kind of sort of go back into, because they go back into there, but he said, I want to sit over here. And I said, okay. He was like fun, and he was, he was just a fun spirit, right? And so I have like over 100 people on this thing, right? So I started giving somebody else a reading, and it was this lady wanted to hear from her grandfather. So I start bringing through whoever was here, and she's like, I can't take that. I can't take that. And I'm just like, this is really interesting. And the lady whose son was
Yes.
sitting over here, she says, I'm really sorry, but I'm
Oh.
pretty sure that's my grandfather. Right?
Oh.
And so I was like, that is hilarious, because that has never happened. And we figured out, obviously, that was why her son wanted to stay,
He was hanging out and wanted
because he
to,
was hanging out with isn't that
wanted
funny?
yeah,
So
it's so
you
funny.
never know. You have to
Yeah.
be prepared for whatever
Mhm.
spirit's gonna throw at
Mhm.
you.
Yeah, you really do, you really do.
Yeah, so much fun.
So let's just take a question about, and I want to talk about your insight timer too, Lori. So we're going to mention that right after this. But
Oh, yeah, for
Keith is asking. He says, "I'm still trying to figure out what I am and how to sense the energy more. I
sure.
believe still trying to figure out what I am and how to sense the energy more." So what can we
Mhm.
share with Keith today, Lori?
Well, I would say 2 things right off the bat. Number 1, meditate.
Mm,
Okay? Meditate, meditate, meditate. I can't sitting in that stillness, there's nothing like it, right? You
mhm.
never know where it will go, the more you get into meditation. But then the second thing would be, find a teacher, whether it's Cheryl or me or whoever you vibe with. And
Mhm,
one thing I love about Cheryl is
mm,
is that, and I feel like I'm the same way, is that this isn't a competition of
mm,
our like Cheryl, who's like, I have to keep all, I want all the business, or
mhm,
I want all the business or whatever. It's not like that. Like,
mm-mm.
I think Cheryl and I are both similar in that we
We
don't
are.
look at it that way.
Mhm.
It's about who you vibe with.
Yeah.
Find a teacher, and then you'll learn about the chakras and the clairs and what it means to be an empath. And then you'll start to develop.
Mhm.
So, what
It
else?
is a Yeah, it is a good recommendation, Keith, to meditate and sit with your own energy first. So sit with your heart. If you want something to focus, you could do a mantra, like you could say the word love or,
Mhm.
be still or stillness or any high vibrational word that, the I am is a great mantra too. And sit with that just for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And if you can do that a few times, you'll find yourself really enjoying it. And then you'll start learning about what your energy feels like. And then, you'll see if you don't find that a spirit or a guide or an angel comes around you at some other time, like when you expand your energy out into the room that you're in. So I know both Lori and I have great meditations. And this is a good segue, Keith, because I want to segue into what Lori does. I mean, you're on Insight Timer on Thursdays. Can you share that with us? Because we can join you, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's so exciting to be on there. I'm actually on Insight Timer, and I do, it's a meditation app, but
Okay.
they talk about everything on there. I mean, they do. I mean, there's meditations on there, there's music on there, all sorts of things. They have live sessions that you can do, so you could like see Reiki. You could have
Mhm.
Reiki done. I mean, it's extraordinary, right? So Thursday nights, I just decided at 5 o'clock, I was on California time, I was going to just start to do mediumship, so
Oh,
much fun,
wonderful.
and then I got involved with another sort of everything metaphysical
Mhm.
website called Evolve Me, and it's EVOLVME. So there's no E at the end of evolve. Okay.
Okay.
So it's evolveme.com. And it's just brand new, but it's starting out to be that same type of thing. So you might want to go check either one of those out. I mean, they're both Oh, thank you for doing
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you, Brianna. The Insight Timer is an app. Is Evolve
Yes.
Me an app, or Evolve Me
Evolve
is
Me is not exactly an
an
app
app?
just
You
yet.
look at that on your website.
Yeah,
So
and they are evolving. They're gonna be kinda like the Etsy of all things metaphysical.
oh,
So,
ooh,
they're gonna have, like, a whole commerce thing where you can buy stuff. You can do readings, you can, get readings
mhm.
on there. There's workshops. I have a workshop coming up for
Oh,
manifestation, and
tell
then
us.
I have a couple other workshops that I'm gonna be doing on there. So, you can do it on there or you
Mhm,
cannot do it. I mean, that's the
mhm,
beauty of it. Just,
mhm. Yeah.
all over the place kind of
And
thing.
while we have you and we're talking about your events and your teaching, can you share your website with us, Lori?
Oh, yeah, it's laurialbert.com. So it's LAURIALBERT.com. I just launched a redo, but it's not done yet. So if you go, just have patience with me. Because yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you for putting that up.
Yes, thank you so much, Brianna. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we're having a great conversation for everyone just joining us. You're listening to Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed. I am Cheryl Murphy. I'm with our co-host, Lori Albert today. Kelly is taking the day off. She'll be back with us soon. And Lori and I are talking about mediumship, or medium versus psychic, and really what that's about and how you can tell one versus the other, you know? And really, I think we can both agree that to develop, or to, because these abilities may be natural for you, or they may be something that you learn. But I think both Lori and I agree that to really get good, or to develop them more, we want to practice, right? We want to take
Mhm.
classes. You want to sit with other people. You want to sit with people of like-minded, who are, and teachers who are going to positively coach you and say, yes, that's it. Just like the shadow with Shonda, yes, Shonda, that is clairvoyance. That's exactly the job that Lori and I have, is to teach you, you got it, and yes, it does look like that sometimes. And sometimes it looks like this, or it feels like
Mhm.
this, but and that's really the beauty of sitting with people, learning together, right? And you're sharing information, Lori. So I'm so happy that you're out teaching, because you're such a great teacher, Lori.
Well, you are too, and you
Thank
have
you.
some classes coming up too, don't you? Oh my
Well,
gosh.
I just want to tell everybody, because Lori's going for it. She's teaching manifestation, and she's got a book out, by the way, and it's behind her. I don't have mine in front of me, but can you hold your book up? Because I mean, she's got some good stuff here. It's called Manifestation Journal for Beginners. It's
Yes.
on Amazon, and there are parts in the book that you can log your affirmations, and
Mhm.
how you're manifesting and what you want to manifest. So she's teaching these courses on manifestation, on clairvoyance, on intuition. I mean, on all this stuff. I'm catching up, or at least I'm trying to start teaching more and more. So I'm currently developing intuitive class. How does that
So
sound?
good.
Yeah.
So amazing. Oh my gosh.
So
Yes.
so so if I could just say, right now I'm doing private mentoring, and I love my students, and I'm teaching a monthly mentorship, and I love my students there. But I want to start teaching more. So I'm really trying to reach more people. So for everybody, just stay tuned. There's a wait list coming. You can sign up,
Mhm.
and then we'll get going on that. But I really think that people are really asking for psychic and mediumship and intuition, and they feel something, they know something, but they don't know what it is, for example, or they don't know how to reach it, on demand, so to speak, so that's what we're here for. We're here to teach you that meditation, that practice part of it. I believe we're going to step into readings now, and we might keep talking about psychic versus mediumship. So if you have questions around that, please keep typing them in. But I know that Lori's coming into this show today wanting to do readings. I'm jumping in with her. So if you have any questions for us that we can answer, please type in your question in the comments section, or if you would like to be on our show today. I believe, Todd, if you can put the number or post the number, it might already be showing up on your screen. You could call in now, and we'll have you backstage with us and put you on the show today. If you'd like, we can do a reading for you that way. Also, Brianna, I'm going to ask her to check the email to see if we have any questions.
Oh, good.
Oh, and Barbara's asking exactly, I don't know how to hear, feel, or see on demand. I know
Yeah.
it's kind of funny, right? I think how I reword that for you, Barbara? Um, when you practice through meditation and allowing and surrendering and trusting, it's more available for you to tune in. It's not like we can just pressure ourselves or we can rush it in what we learn. We can't be hard on ourselves learning these gifts or these abilities. But I do believe the more you practice, especially in those groups that Lori and I are letting you know, learning in a group environment is a great way to go. Online is great too. It is about understanding that when we raise your vibration, you are tuned. You're tuned in, right, Lori? Like when
Mhm.
you raise your vibration, working with others, it's more easily there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. When that's why, and and I'm just going to touch on this really quick because I think it's important to say when you when you start to like feel yourself having mediumship things happening, you're seeing spirits or you're feeling spirits around whatever. Um, you kind of think like one of the main questions I get is, well, how do I just keep the good spirits from sticking in, coming in and not
Yeah.
the bad ones,
Great. Thank you.
Um, so basically part of how you do that is to keep your vibration high.
Mm,
And in that place of love and
yeah,
gratitude and bliss, all of that. So that is, I get asked that quite often,
I
so
believe it.
keeping yourself in that high vibration can do so, so much.
And also, when I said the word demand, I just want to know I was trying to be more humorous than saying we demand it because we should never really demand anything from the spirit world. We're actually inviting, we're requesting, we're asking, we're giving gratitude for the possibilities that it could happen for us. It's almost if we come to working with our own abilities through grace. We set that intention with reverence. We set it with humility. So know that the higher regard and respect I believe you give the spirit world, it's kind of like it's a two-way street, right, Lori?
Oh,
Does that make
100%.
sense? Yeah.
Yeah, some of those, TV shows where there's this one specific, which I'm not gonna mention, but he, like, yells.
Ooh.
I don't think he's a medium, right? He just wants to get the spirit activity or whatever, and he, like, screams at the spirits, like, "I think you should come out now." It's like, "Whoa, what are you doing?"
Whoa.
I mean, I like to teach it like they're our new friends,
Yeah.
They're like, what would you do when you first meet somebody? You ask them their name. Now, getting names, I know can be a thing, right? But you look at them, you see, oh, they've got brown hair. Oh, look at how beautiful they are. Or, you look at you just, ask them questions, like you would a new friend. You treat them like with respect.
I
So
love how you're
that's kinda
saying
how
that.
I roll on that.
It is like a friend. It's a spirit friend, it's a spirit guide friend, angel friends. When you meet someone's loved one in the spirit world, if I were to meet one of your loved ones, you would want to treat them the way you would want to be treated as well,
Yeah,
right? That golden rule, it's a
exactly.
nice way to live. So thank
Yeah.
you, Barbara. You really
Yeah.
helped open up that conversation to where Lori even added more to it by talking about just the good ones too, right? You were saying, if you lift your vibration, uh, you will never attract, excuse me, you'll never attract anything other than positivity and love. And that is really all that is in the spirit world is positivity and love.
Yeah.
And to
Mhm.
reach them, though, you do want to raise your vibration.
Right.
I do wanna say Sue B has a question, Lori, if you can do a reading for her, we're gonna put her comment. Thank you. Sue B is saying, "I am planning my retirement in 2024. What do you see around that?"
Oh, that is so exciting. Oh my goodness. As I start to get older, I'm about to turn 58 and I start thinking about that. Ooh, like retirement. What does that look like? I don't even know, I mean, I can't even imagine it. It feels so far away for me. But you know what I'm going to do? I am going to pull a card.
I would love that.
I have my deck. It's the, what is it? The Sacred Forest deck by
Mm.
Denise Lynn. She is another medium who is absolutely incredible. She is just amazing.
What is her name so we can
Denise Lynn, Linn, and
thank
she
you.
is just a beautiful soul.
Thank you.
Who, by the way,
Yeah.
has the same birthday as me. Is that funny?
She does.
I know. I was like shocked. I didn't know. So anyway, I just found that out, obviously. So, okay. So I'm going to pull you a card, Sue. Oh, wow.
What do you
This
have?
is so great because this confirms what I was starting to get, right? So the card I pulled is the Spirit Guardian of Autumn. And then it says letting go.
Mm.
Right? Oh my goodness. And look at how beautiful she is.
Mhm.
And with I don't know if they're flowers or leaves, but maybe a little bit of both, right? And it's just such a beautiful, beautiful deck, right? But this is what I'm getting about this. Expectations are difficult, when we get ourselves into that place of like, well, my retirement is going to be this, and this, and this, and this, and this, whatever, right?
Mhm.
I'm saying, why don't you start to just meditate on it and see, whenever your mind goes to that quiet place,
Mhm.
what do you start to feel? Because our sort of human mind, our ego mind will tell us, well, you should get hobbies, you should do this, you should do that, all of those things, right? But maybe spirit has other plans for you. Maybe spirit has
Yeah.
some developmental plans for you. We don't know, So this card is perfect for that, in that
Mhm.
it says, let go and just see where it takes you. Yes,
Mhm.
maybe start to plan some stuff, but allow yourself to surrender to whatever spirit has for you in terms of that, So what do you get for that?
I get positivity, Sue, around that as Lori's talking about it. I felt a long time coming. So in some way, it just feels like, you could have retired sooner, but you're waiting till 2024. I think it's a good stepping off point for you to kind of get your feet wet and to maybe go exploring. I see you as an adventurer. So, I mean, I'd love to see you painting on canvas, these landscapes in beautiful Italy. And so this is kind of how I see you, this vibrant, independent energy about you that is being fulfilled, because you are in that new energy of retirement. So I definitely see a beautiful, vast array of opportunity for you. That's how I'm going to put that. Yeah.
Yeah. And do
Thank
what
you.
you love to do.
Uh-huh.
Think about what you want out of your life versus what is
Yeah.
expected of you, which is what other people expect from you. So, yeah, I just see the getting rid of the expectations and, like tap into what you love.
Mm, I
Yeah,
like that. I like
fun.
that.
Yeah.
We have an email question, but I have to read it to you, Lori. So we have an email question, everyone. Let me just see here. Let's see. This is a woman writing this question, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to get her name, but she is asking. Okay, she's asking, does Bernadette have a message for her? Thank you. Her name is Jessie. Thank you. Or Jess. She's asking if Bernadette has a message for her. So that would be number one. And that can Bernadette actually hear her when she talks to her mentally? That's a good question, by the way. Thank you. And is Bernadette always around me? That's her question. So Bernadette.
Okay. Do you want to go first or do you want me to?
Why don't you go first?
Okay. So you have a few minutes to tap in, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
out here.
So first of all, yes, she hears you without doubt. Okay. She is with you, all the time. I feel
Mhm.
like she's actually with you. She's saying to me, too much. She's like, you're just talking to me so much, and that's good. I will be there. I feel very protective over you. It's interesting because I feel motherly, but I don't necessarily feel like it's your mother. So I'm just going to say it like that. So yes, and she's saying that, she wants you to start to be able, and please don't shoot the messenger, but start to get past. That's terrible to say. And it's her words saying it. And I'm trying to not say it like that because how do you tell somebody to get past their grief? Because you can't. There is no such thing as getting past the grief,
Right.
But she's saying that she wants you. She sees a future for you where you are thriving and happy, and you wake up happy. There's something about waking up happy, Jess, for you. Okay. There's something about waking up happy. Okay. It's like Bernadette is saying, I just want you to not sit in like missing me too much, because there's still stuff. This is her saying there's still more that you need to do on this earth. And she doesn't want you to miss out on that, and yeah, so I'm just going to say it that way. But you know what? The bottom line is, I really, really want to say this because we all grieve in our own way for as long as it takes. Okay. It could be a short grieving period. It could be a long grieving period, and of course, there's a part of me that really is needing to say that we never really get over, the loss of somebody that was so close. We never really do, but it's about learning to live with that loss. Okay. And so it's so interesting because she's saying this stuff to me and she's being really blunt. I'll just be honest, right? She's being very blunt, okay, in her delivery. And so that's why I kind of wanted to sort of say the stuff, but actually.
Right. And she could have been maybe that way, in real life.
Yeah. So, go
Real
ahead.
life, meaning when she
What
was
do you
alive.
get?
Well, I love how you answered that though, because I do feel there's a loneliness around you, Jess. And I want to say that she is around you all the time. And she says that you sing to her and that you're hearing music around her. That's how she comes to you. Also, she says that, excuse me, that there's either some house cleaner or something that you're using. I don't know if it's some fragrance or some new spray that you bought, but it's very strong, and she's commenting on it and hoping that you take that as validation, that you recognize the information I'm giving you, and knowing that validates that she's around all the time.
Isn't she kind of blunt? She is kind of a blunt woman.
Yeah.
I love it.
So that's just, validation the spirit world gives us to help us understand that they are with us. So we thank you for your question. Thanks for emailing us your question. And for everyone, you can always email your questions. If they're not on today's show, maybe they'll be on next week's show or a future show. We always keep those questions and try to answer as many as we can. And you can email us at questions@seeingbeyondradio.com. So let's do another one. Are you up for another one, Lori?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. Let me see. KB is asking a question. My husband is pursuing a new business venture. Do you see it being successful and profitable? So KB, who is Kit, by the way. Hi, Kit. My husband is pursuing a new business venture. Do you see it being successful and profitable?
Okay. So, are you okay with me going?
Oh, yes, please go ahead.
okay.
I was just reading some more
I
questions
don't want
to.
to step over you, kind of thing.
No, it's good.
As you were reading that, I was like, somebody was speaking in my ear going, pull a card, pull a card, pull a card.
Oh,
So
okay.
I pulled a card from the empowerment deck, right? It's
Oh,
the Magical Times empowerment deck, right?
who
So I
created
got
those?
the love card, but I'm going to read what it says at the bottom because that is where the message is. Okay.
Wow.
Listen to your heart. This is for regarding your husband's business. Listen to your heart. Embrace what makes you happy. There are 1 million reasons to love. Okay. So, that all being said, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be, there's going to be lots of aspects to it that you had no idea. Right. And I guess that's kind of a logical thing, but but that's what I'm hearing. Okay. But I really feel like that if you put your heart and soul in it, if you love what you are doing, it will take off. Okay.
Mhm.
And I feel like, 12 to 18 months, it's going to be whoa. And then all of a sudden things are going to get like kind of, I don't want to say easy, but things are going to get into this like I feel like an upswing, between 12 and 18 months. It feels like it's going to be on an upswing. And I feel like I'm supposed to tell you that you, more so than your husband, are going to need to have patience. That's what
Ah,
they're telling me. So you, KB, they're saying that having patience would be a real beneficial thing for you. So
I love it.
anything else, Cheryl? What else?
I
What are
love it.
we
I'll
missing?
just add to it, but I loved everything that Lori was saying, especially the timeline. I was like, "Wow, I'm getting the same thing on the
Oh,
timeline."
good. Oh, good.
Yeah, I know. Like, KB, your husband, I feel like he does well. He does anything well that he puts his heart and soul into.
Did you see
I
what KB said?
Uh-oh, I'm busted.
That's really cool.
That's good. Uh, and that, there are some details that he's missing that I feel like you see, but I don't know, I just feel like there are some details he's missing. And that he wants to, like, leap before you look type of feeling, and we want him to look before you leap, like, pay attention to the details, it's in the baby steps. 'Cause
Mhm.
I feel like him succeeding in stages, and that's where Lori and I are definitely in tune with you on this, is that it's gonna be, maybe slow or, getting the kinks out or, smoothing the edges, as they say, but then it just takes off, it flows, when he gets all that figured out.
Yay. Awesome.
Yay!
Super
That's a
exciting.
great thanks, KB.
Nothing better than starting something new,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
enjoyment and that excitement, Oh, love
Mhm.
that. So good luck. Good luck to both you and your husband, KB.
So I have a question for you about psychic and mediumship, if we can just go to that question for a moment. Uh, would you say that we're using our psychic abilities to be a medium? Like, it's not like, are we using our intuition to be a medium? Like, we learn intuition, and then it builds, and then we can tune in and become psychic, and then we can even tune in further if it happens, and raise that vibration even further, and then step into medium. Like, they all go together. I guess that's what I wanna say. They do go together. It's not like they're
Yeah.
3 completely separate things, right? We
Mhm.
really wanna develop as a human being, as a spiritual being, we wanna develop our intuition, right? Can you talk about that?
Yeah.
Like, there we wanna learn all of that, not that we don't wanna discard any of it, I guess, is what I wanna say. We're not
Yeah. Oh,
saying do one or the other. We're saying you
yes.
could be all of it.
Yeah, exactly. And just because you think that right now you're only psychic, who knows
Mhm.
what will end up happening? You may get called to to do Reiki, energy healing. You don't really know. So you just got to stick with just go with the flow and surrender. Allow spirit to take you wherever spirit's going to take you. But what I want to say about what you were talking about, Cheryl, is really great point. And the reason why I love the cards, okay, and you guys are going to laugh when you hear this, right? I stopped using cards. Like, I started using cards when I was, first starting out, and it was fun and whatever. And then I stopped using it because I thought I don't need the cards. But then about, I don't know, maybe 2.5 years ago, I realized that the cards aren't necessarily for me. they're for the people I'm reading in some respects, right?
Mhm.
So basically, okay, I'm just pulling, this isn't a card for anybody. I'm just pulling this card. So the way I use these cards is this. I'll start out and I'll be like, oh, this is the purification card. And then I will like start to think of, like things will start to come into my mind. Okay, what aspect of purification? Why did I pull this card? Right. So then I start to think of, and that is all psychic, right?
Got
But
it.
then for me, what sometimes ends up happening after that is spirit guides will start to come in, or a spirit will purification, meaning like you need to stop eating so much junk food. Let's just use that terms in terms of purification, right? So I pull this card and then I start to get the feeling of like somebody is telling me to tell whoever it
Mhm.
is, the sitter. I won't say you, Cheryl, because
Yeah.
it's about junk food.
It's kind.
But, so I hear the mom saying, you shouldn't be eating so much junk food, kind of
Mhm.
thing. So then it turns into mediumship,
Mhm.
right?
Got it. Yeah.
So these are just tools that
Mhm.
we can use
Mm.
for all of it, for whatever type of reading it may be, you know?
Yeah, love
And
it.
what happens in that is that once, you start seeing these cards and because it's tangible, it's something that we can
Mhm.
touch and you can see the beautiful pictures, blah, blah, blah. But then it allows us to start to come in and
Mhm.
use all the other gifts that we have. The empathicness. Is that a word? I don't even know.
It
But the
is.
empath in
We
us.
are going to claim it is.
Yeah, exactly.
It is on this show today.
There you go. I make up words all the time. I mean, that's like, I don't know what I do, but I make up words all the time. But anyway, so then it turns like the psychic,
Uh-huh.
the knowing of stuff
Mhm.
sometimes. And then all of a sudden the mom will come in,
Mhm.
and start to give a
Mhm.
message. So it's just you utilize all the gifts
That's
together.
that well said. You utilize it, utilize all the questions, all the abilities. Yeah, thank you. And Kit is saying, or KB is saying, "Thank you. I am honored you answered my question."
Oh, yay.
So I'd like to do a couple more readings if that's okay, Lori, with
Sure.
you. Let's
Yeah, I
do a
love it.
couple more for sure. And I want to ask you to pull a card at the end for the group. Like, can you pull one card? Because I love that. Can you pull one card that for all of us? Guys, I just love that. But let's do a
Cheryl,
couple.
I have to say, you guys, every time I sit and
Yeah,
talk with Cheryl or we're
yeah,
doing something, we are so connected.
yeah.
I was literally just thinking that like less than a minute ago, like,
Oh my
oh,
God.
I should pull a card for like the collective.
You should. Okay, let's do another reading.
So
Thank
funny.
you,
Love that.
Courtney. Courtney, thanks. Courtney says she loves us. Thank you. Yes, an intention card. It is fun. I want to talk to Joanne about her husband. She's asking that she'd like a reading regarding her spouse who crossed over.
Mm.
And, Joanne, these are mini readings. I mean, of course, we would love to spend as much time as we could with you, but we will see what we can bring through for you
Thank
um,
goodness.
in this, because I'm hearing love, love, love.
Uh,
And I'm feeling that your husband holds you in high regard. If I can just start, Lori, just because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and,
Oh, yes,
I'm
definitely.
feeling Joanne's husband coming through. And Jeffrey's with us. Hi, Jeffrey. Yeah, Jeffrey's a lovely medium, and he'll be on our show in next month. So, Jeffrey, we're going to love having you. This is Lori. Lori, this is Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
uh, so, Joanne, let's work on your husband regarding your spouse who crossed over. Is there a specific message you'd like to know, Joanne, or just, a message, as we mentioned? So let me feel with your husband just for a moment, because I'm getting a sense that, there's a lot of times where I'm getting, Joanne, around your husband, that he knows that you hold his things very close to you, right? How we hold their shirts, or we hold their things they used to wear very close to us, and that we speak to them in our mind, or, in our tears, in our heart. And I just want to tell you that he is saying he is definitely with you. And in some ways he's with you like, gosh, like 24/7, because it feels like that's how you were at some time in your life. Also that he is, I think you have the TV on all the time or something, because he's talking about you've got the TV on all the time, and that he's listening to you. And I almost feel that you smell his cologne or that fragrance that he used to wear around. I don't know if that's Old Spice or another type of cologne, but that you wouldn't go anywhere without him, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm getting for you, Joanne. And I'm going to hand it to Lori and ask her to.
Well, so Joanne, I hope that, if you can like type in if this makes sense. So yeah, I mean, that would be probably a little bit helpful. But the first thing, whenever I read your comment, I would like a reading regarding my spouse who crossed over. I have a whole group of spirits behind me always, right? Whenever I sit here, right?
Okay.
What's the matter?
No, I'm going, okay. No,
Oh,
I'm going, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, there's always
Sorry.
like spirits. I thought something was wrong with the broadcast.
No.
But anyway, so as I read that, this man started coming forward and I am not lying, I started seeing him doing cartwheels, like to come up, like separating himself from the crowd, doing cartwheels. And I feel like that he's doing that because it's like he's trying to get your attention. So he's showing that he's there in ways that, how can I explain what I'm trying to say here? Like he's there and you're like, maybe the lights will flicker or whatever, and you're not quite understanding, that actually is him, right? So he wants you to know if the lights flicker or if you feel something rub up against you, that's him. That's him being there. I feel like that he's got an amazing personality, not really like overly loud or not, but not very, very soft, just like a really decent personality, And what he's telling me is he's showing me a picture of like himself, which I'm not actually seeing his face, so I can't describe his face, but I'm like kind of seeing it sort of blurry, I guess, if you would. He's here and you're you're equal, right? So, and I am not saying that you are the same height or were the same height, whatever you want to say it that way, necessarily, but I feel like that's kind of like a symbolic of your relationship was, like he was your best friend. So you call whenever anything would happen, you call him, he would call you, you work things out together. Like it's very much of a partnership, I guess is the way I want to say that. And he's still there for you.
Wow.
So keep an open mind and an open heart for the signs that he's there for you. So
thank you.
all I'm gonna say with it.
Joanne, if we just, our hearts go out to you, and
Yes.
thank you so much for being a part of our show and even, reaching out to us and trusting us with that
Yeah.
information. So thank you so much, Joanne. And I know, guys, we want to ask Lori to pull a card for the group here today, Lori, before we head out. And I just want to remind people that Lori's website is lorialbert.com. That's LAURIALBERT.com. And we want you to find out what Lori's doing. She's doing a lot of great stuff online. She's on Insight Timer. She's on the evolveme.com website. So if you haven't downloaded the Insight Timer, it is free to download as an app.
Yes.
And then you can go into it more and look around. But
Yeah.
Lori's on there weekly doing
Yeah.
readings and on the Evolve Me. So, I mean, she's got it going on. So thank you, Lori. And let me turn it over to you. What is your card
real quick before I tell you about the reading, I have a workshop series that I do. So once a month I do a workshop, and they're mostly on right now. They're going to be on evolveme.com. Okay. So you can find that. I keep it very inexpensive and just easy. And it's an hour and a half. It's just kind of, different topics. So my topic for this next month is manifesting your dreams.
Yay.
And then in March, we're going to talk about spirit guides.
Yay.
And then in April, we're going to talk about, I think I may be psychic. What do I do? So that's kind of fun. And then, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. So
thank you.
Okay. So I want to share with you guys the collective. This is amazing. I got the B spirit and it says prosperity.
Okay.
I feel like that the message for us all is that, oh, I got chills. Our life is exactly what we put into it.
Mhm.
If we constantly think of lack, if we come from a place of lack, like, why does that person have that? I want that. Why can't I have that? Then that's what we're going to have. Okay. But what I want to say is start to raise your vibration. Do this one little thing, and it will help the prosperity in terms of, life stuff, but also your happiness, right? This one little trick, right? Every morning when you put your feet on the floor, you say thank you. Okay. And
Okay.
then you think of 5 things that you are grateful for. Okay.
Wow.
So if you can think of 5 things every day that you are grateful for, that will change everything. And you will look at your life as being prosperous
Oh, I
instead of
love
a place
it.
of lack. So
I
that's,
love it. That's a good practice and it's a good habit. So every morning, thank you and think of 5 things to be grateful for.
yes, beautiful.
Thank
So
you.
it's a great message.
That's a great card for all of us,
I
Lori.
know. And it's the bee spirit. I'll just show that really quick. Look how cute.
Prosperity.
The
Thank you.
fairy deck. I call it the fairy deck.
Well, everyone, I mean, it's just been another great show today. We want to thank everyone for joining us on Seeing Beyond Living Transformed. We want to thank WLTK-DB Radio and Todd for producing the show and being our backup here. And Brianna, we love you. Thanks for helping us with posting the links. We just so appreciate you as well. And thank all of our listeners for being with us. And we'll be back next Wednesday. We're hoping to have Lori back next Wednesday. So it'll be me or Kelly. We're arm wrestling over that. But for everyone in the meantime, thank you guys so much for being with us today. We certainly
Thank you
want
for
to.
having me.
You're
I
welcome,
appreciate it.
Lori. You are such a lovely guest, and we get so many people asking to have you back on. So we really are grateful for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everyone, thank you again and have a lovely day. You're watching Seeing Beyond Living Transformed. Namaste.
Bye, everybody.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.